विश्व में हमने युवाओं की IT एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बात के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साफ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, IT plus IT is equal to IT. Information technology plus Indian talent is equal to India tomorrow.
Welcome and namaste to everyone. Welcome our esteemed speakers, Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya ji, who is the director of NABET, and Dr. Pankaj Mittal, who is the Secretary General of Indian Association of Universities. We are honored to have two esteemed speakers with us in this opening session of the day 2 of the 19th edition of World Education Summit. I am Ravi Gupta. I am founder and CEO of Elets Technomedia Private Limited, and also the editor-in-chief of Digital Learning Magazine, published by Elets. It is an honor to have a range of speakers from diverse states, diverse cities, and diverse countries at the 19th World Education Summit. And we have a huge amount of delegates here. We have more than 1,000 delegates who are live with us right now on our Avatar platform, which is a 3D platform created by Elets. And this 19th edition of World Education Summit is happening in these challenging times when we have just emerged from the second wave of the pandemic, and we were all hoping that from April this year situation would have improved and everything would have become normal in the country. But I think the virus had many other ideas. So these times have created challenging situations for everyone, for the government, for the university administrators, for teachers, and for students, and for overall society as a whole. So we will request our esteemed speakers to give your opinions and views about how is the higher education ecosystem evolving in these troubled times, and how we can use it best as an opportunity. So I will hand over this session to our colleague Hemangini Rajput, who is a senior editor of Digital Learning Magazine. She is based out of Gujarat, and Hemangini will be moderating the session. So with this, I say thank you and welcome to all our speakers and delegates again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi Gupta. And a very warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of All India University, and Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya, Director of NABET. So with this session, as Dr. Ravi Gupta has rightly said, that we were assuming that things will fall at the place from April and May, and we are making all our assumptions. But I think the time is taking a toll on us. And so on education system right now, because there are so many changes coming up with time. So my question is to Dr. Pankaj Mittal, that, Madam, what do you think that what impact of pandemic on higher education has made, and in the second wave, what challenges you all are facing? Ma'am, I think your mic is on mute. So
thank you, Himangi, and also thanks to Dr. Ravi Gupta and Elets for inviting me here. When you talk of COVID, and especially the second wave, it has impacted the higher education system in a huge way. You know that when the first wave came to India, and in March, when all the universities and colleges were closed and all the students were forced to stay at home, there was a huge apprehension that what will happen to the higher education system. But slowly, it started evolving. And in no time, our teachers learned how to teach online. I'm not saying that they learned how to teach online effectively overnight, but of course they could manage somehow. And now that when we were thinking that we will be opening up after the first wave was fading away, the second wave stuck, and again the universities and colleges, I mean, everything was closed. In universities and colleges never opened fully. I mean, we opened slightly, I mean, for research students or something, but full opening we were envisaging. Even at AIU, we brought out a book called How to Reopen Universities and Colleges. But again, everything, and then second wave was, that it was too serious and so many casualties were there in the second wave. It was much more infectious. So now I am not very sure, but depends upon the vaccination program, how fast the vaccination goes. And I really feel that the students should be in fact vaccinated first, so that at least the universities and colleges do open. But I'm not seeing in near future, maybe at least till October, November, that the universities and colleges will open. And so the solution is that we have to fall back to online education. And otherwise also, I think one thing in which we can say that Corona was an opportunity for all of us was that we learned how to teach online, we learned how to learn online, and not only teaching, learning, even examinations, assessment, evaluation. The UGC is sort of advocating for the continuous assessment and evaluation, so that we don't have to depend upon 3-hour examination at the end of the semester. And you have seen that recently we have cancelled the 12th class examinations just because of this, that 3-hour examination after the year is over itself, holding itself was a very big challenge. So now I think the times have come when the teaching learning will be in blended mode. That is going to stay. I mean, online is not going to away. Even if the Corona fades away, the online will stay. Rather, the blended education will stay, and the assessment and evaluation, that will certainly have a different paradigm from now on, and it will be a continuous assessment. And even the collaborations, whether it is national collaborations, international collaborations. Earlier, we used to think that collaborations involve a lot of money because travel expenses are there and the teachers are not available readily. But now we have seen that collaborations are also possible online and in a much more time effective and cost effective manner. So I think apart from the difficulties which we have faced during Corona, we have also learned a lot, and we are trying to sort of hold back, and then, I mean, a resilient system is developing.
True, ma'am. I mean, it is very true that there's increased in a way, and you have rightly said whatever steps you have taken, it is really. I hope that it stays with us. It stays longer with us. So, to Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya, Director of the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, sir, my question to you that. Being a director of NABET, what challenges you have faced, and taking some decisions for the universities, colleges, examinations. I mean, what challenges you are facing
Thank you.
during
Good
this
morning to all.
pandemic?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning to all. I thank Dr. Ravi Gupta for inviting me for this World Education Summit in Higher Education. First of all, before answering to Himangini, I must take the audience to what Quality Council is all about. So the NABET, National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, is a part of Quality Council of India, which is set up in '97 by Government of India with ASSOCHAM, CII, and FICCI. We are an autonomous independent organization under the Ministry of Commerce, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and was established for undertaking national quality campaign. Our chairman, Mr. Adil Zainul, has been appointed by the Prime Minister, and he had served more than 34 years in legislation as the managing director. And our Secretary General, Dr. R.P. Singh, former Vice Chancellor of Sharda University. So, being this the background, we have our organization structure has several boards of accreditation. The leading ones are the board of laboratories, the board for hospitals, the board for certification bodies, and I come from the board for education and training. Then we have another board for quality promotion. Besides this, we have special project groups of project planning, implementation division, project analysis and documentation division, and zero defect and zero effect division. Now, talking about what NABET has been doing fast in the space of assessments and accreditation, and in the higher education space from 2012 to 2016, we have been doing the assessments for ITIs, accreditation of ITIs, and moved from paper-based to paperless. In NABET, we have been in the school accreditation sector, and we have in the past, we have accredited more than 6,000 schools in India and abroad. And earlier, the ITI accreditation were based on CD evaluations, which the CDs were evaluated offline. And moving on from 2018, more than 5,000 vocational training institutes under sector skill councils of NSDCs were assessed through mobile assessments with synchronous verifications 24/7 in central control room. Moving on, in the last pandemic session, what has happened is the MHRD, through MHRD project, we got into innovations for assessments in the leading areas of innovation, which was driven by the impact projects and the UAY projects under the Ministry of HRD, which means the impacting research, innovation and technology, and Uchtar Avishkar Yojana. The imprint domains were 10, which is the healthcare, information communication technology, energy, sustainable habitat, nanotechnology, hardware, water resources and river systems, advanced materials, manufacturing, security and defense, environmental science and climate change. Although the domains were given a basket across IITs and Indian Institute of Science, when we delved deep into these 450 projects, we saw that these projects were multi-domain and multidisciplinary. So, coming back to what has been asked, as of date, we need to move on, not to have only move on one discipline, but the students need to move on multidisciplinary approach. And today, when I speak today, the pandemic has made everybody move on to the online mode with 1,000% increase that we have seen on online platform movement, right from the Coursera, the eQuest, that platform that we have, and similar platforms which are on edX has moved on. So people have moved on from this. So way back in, let us say 2015, when we were talking about blended education, suddenly the entire academic diaspora has moved on to the online platform. And so also our assessments which have taken place across the boards, which I just said, have moved on to the online way of assessing the things. Back to you, Hemangini.
Thank you for your inputs. I think NABET has been doing such a great task, and thank you for sharing this to us. And again, my question to Pankaj Mittal, ma'am, that ma'am, how do you think that the way you told that whatever steps you have taken for the college students and all, but recently that we have seen exams abhi हमने cancel किए for CBSE and for college students, what do you think, how it will impact in future? I mean, what will be the impact you see on of cancelling the exams and promoting them? How do you see it?
See, in fact, examinations should be taken, students should be assessed and should be evaluated. But now the situation is such that it is a fait accompli that we are not able to hold the examinations because health is more important than 1 year of examination. Therefore, right now we did not have any other option but to cancel the examinations and then give the marks to the students on the basis of, say, previous year performances or internal examinations or practical examinations. So this is a sort of a interim arrangement made because of the situation. But assessment and evaluation is very, very important. And therefore, the autonomy has been given to the universities that, okay, do hold the examinations, but the way you feel is good for your university, for your students, depending upon the local conditions, regional conditions, you can take the examination. It could be assignment based examination, it could be open book examination, it could be online examination, proctored examination, depends upon the situation which is existing in your university. So every university, depending upon their own situation, is taking the examination. But as I mentioned in the beginning, because of this, that 3 hour examination is becoming a challenge, and not only because it is becoming a challenge, but it is not considered to be a very good way of assessing and evaluating the student, because in 3 hours you are assessing the student for the whole years of the study he or she has done. Therefore, the National Education Policy, which was released last year, we are about to complete 1 year of the release of National Education Policy, has very categorically stated that the assessment and evaluation should be a continuous process from the beginning of the semester till the end of the semester. In the end of the semester, there can be an examination, but that examination will not carry 100% weightage. That will carry something like 20-30% weightage, and 70% of the weightage would be say quizzes or project work or activity work or assignments or face-to-face interviews or group discussion. I mean, there are hundreds of ways of evaluating the students. So this 3 hour examination in any case is not considered to be the best way. And I don't think in any of the other countries we are only depending upon this 3 hour examination. Everywhere it is a continuous assessment of the student, formative assessment of the student, so that we really come to know how the student is performing throughout the year through various measures. And then I also feel that the student should not be assessed only on the, say, examination, from the examination point of view. The overall development of the student, the holistic development of the student in other walks of life also, that also needs to be assessed. So that leads to 360-degree evaluation of the student. So 360-degree evaluation of the student is required so that we come to know that the student is developing holistically. That is the mandate of our universities and colleges. We are not producing sort of degree awarding students who are only good for employment. We are wanting better citizens of the country. We need universal human values to be there in the students. Therefore, when we assess and evaluate the student, it should be a complete 360-degree evaluation. All the aspects, personal aspects, psychological aspects, behavioral aspects, value system of the student, communication ability, management ability, health, fitness, mental health, everything should be evaluated. Then only it is a real assessment and evaluation, and we are progressing towards that. And after Corona, it is becoming all the more important, because you know that in Corona, how many students faced mental breakdowns, and there were so many psychological issues. Many universities had to appoint counselors to take care of the mental health of the students. The parents were worried because the students are, now it is almost 1 year, more than 1 year that the students are at home. They are not able to go to the university. They are not able to meet their friends. So that is having a psychological impact also on the students. So the student should be good from all angles. Means assessment should be from all angles, because if you want to make the student a good citizens who will contribute to the demographic dividend of the country, because students are our future of our nation depends upon the students, and they are the ones who will be contributing to nation building. Therefore, we want good students, very good citizens, and very good human beings above all. So all that should be assessed when we evaluate a student.
Truly, very, very truly said, Dr. Mittal, and I totally agree with your point that students should be assessed on their overall, whatever they are doing. Not only 3 hours of examination can, judge their capability. With continuing with Madam, as spoke about national education policy. Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya, sir, what are your views on national education policy? How you see it?
So the most important thing is that the National Education Policy 2020 has moved on from only delving in onto logical or logical reasoning intelligence to the other types of nine intelligence it has accepted, which is the linguistic, the visual intelligence, the intrapersonal intelligence, the interpersonal intelligence, existential, musical, and naturalistic and kinesthetic. Most once these types of intelligence are addressed, so only a student is not assessed only on basis of logical reasoning, and also the hierarchy of human intelligence has been taken care of, which is the EQ, IQ, EQ, and SQ, which means the physical quotient, intelligence quotient, the emotional quotient, and on the top is the spiritual quotient. But one on this pyramid, one is missing is the adversity quotient, which is very important, which came out through this pandemic period. A lot of which has been talked by Dr. Mittal, when a lot of students went through this adversity quotient, which they have to come out of the adversity quotient and face the world. The key principles of NEP, if we talks about the critical thinking and creativity, the unique capabilities of recognizing and copying them with each emphasize on contextual understanding, then learning for exams, community participation, uplifting philanthropic, private, community participation, equity and inclusion to become cornerstones of all educational decisions, and respect for diversity and local context to be reflected in all curriculum, pedagogy, and policy, and continuous review build on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. The use of technology has been on the top in teaching and learning, removing language barriers. On part of UCI as a whole, we went through this Udyog Manthan webinar, which happened 2 months webinar, which happened just to bring in the students closer to what is happening in the industry, to do this industry and academia bridge. So, a tremendous amount of number of participation we saw through this, and 18 webinars happened in manufacturing and services with 175 speakers, 1,800 participants over 8 weeks on WebEx. This happened from January to March 2021, and 7,000 over social media platforms participated. This was intended to improve the quality and productivity in the country for pursuing the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And the sectors which were addressed were ESDM and manufacturing, construction, pharma, medicine, renewable energy, closed circuit cameras, robotics, aerospace, defense, toys, leather, furniture, chemicals, finance and service, and quality in government processes. Over to you, Hima.
This is thank you, sir. Thank you for your inputs. Continuing to that, Madam, as you say that blended learning method will stay after the trend which is set right now. What are your insights? I mean, you want to highlight on classroom versus online learning. What would you prefer on that?
See, I said that blended learning will be important in future, and when I say blended learning, it is a combination of offline means face to face plus online education, and then again I'm not talking of hybrid. There is a subtle difference between hybrid education and blended education. In hybrid education, you have sort of different courses in a program. Suppose BA BSc program, there is a full program out of which say there are 15-16 courses or 16 papers in that program. So those 16 courses, maybe if we are doing 4 or 5 courses from online mode and rest from the offline mode, face to face mode, that will be hybrid education, because it is a hybrid of two ways of education. Like UGC has already approved that 40% of the courses can be done from the online mode on the SWAYAM platform. So that that means 60% can be done offline and 40% of the courses can be done online. So that is hybrid education. But what I am talking about is blended education. And when I say blended education, it means that in every course there is a combination of face to face and online. For example, in flipped classroom model. See, in our country, normally the lecture method is used, in which the teacher comes to the class, teaches from a book or the notes which he or she is carrying, and then students go back home and then study and analyze and understand the topic well. But in foreign countries, what happens is the audio clips, the videos, the audios, the text is given in advance to the students. Students study at home that particular lesson, and in the class, what happens? It is only the discussions, group discussions, understanding, problem solving, rationalization, analyzing. So this leads to better understanding of the concept. So this is a flipped classroom model, which is totally flipped. I mean, in Hindi, if we say कि हमारे देश में बच्चे क्लास में पढ़ते हैं और घर पे जाके मनन करते हैं, वहाँ पे बच्चे घर से पढ़ के आते हैं और क्लास में मनन करते हैं. So it is a totally flipped, total opposite situation. So this will be blended mode of education. And for blended mode of education, if you really want to follow in every course, it will be a mix of offline and face-to-face. Then what you have to do is you have to develop very good online resources. So very good online resources, either the teacher can develop on his or her own. I mean, they can develop their own videos, they can give their own audio files, they can give their own notes to the students. But luckily, right now, a lot of material is available on the net. Maybe it is in the form of EPG Pathshala, is the Government of India website, in which 25,000 videos, curriculum-based videos for PG subjects are available. So what the student can do, what the teacher can do is that give the link of that video to the student. The student can see the video from there. They can read the lecture notes. I mean, it is in a 4-quadrant. 4-quadrant means video, text, read more, and assess yourself. So small question answers are there. So the student assesses whether I have really learned well or not. So they can give the links of those videos. Similarly, the SWAYAM is there, which is the India MOOCs platform, in which around 2,500 courses are there. So those courses can be used by the universities in two ways. One is the hybrid model, in which the student does the complete online course from the SWAYAM platform, and then that is counted towards the credit. And India is the only country which is giving the credit transfer for the online MOOCs courses. Generally, MOOCs courses do not get credit transfer. But in India, we get 40% of the credits can be done through the MOOCs program. So one is that you can use it as a hybrid model, as a complete course from the SWAYAM. Second is that the teacher along with the students, they can both join the SWAYAM course, and that can be used as a supplementary reading or as a flipped classroom model, online learning platform, and the students can be learning from there, and then there can be classes in the classroom setting in which they can discuss and understand better. So blended education is going to stay, and in future I will also say, you were talking about national education policy. I'll say that the most innovative concept of national education policy, if we can talk of only one concept which is most innovative, that is ABC. ABC means Academic Bank of Credit. So now what is Academic Bank of Credit? In Academic Bank of Credit, like you have a commercial bank in which you have an account, in ABC, students will be having an account. Instead of depositing money, you will be depositing credits. So when you deposit credit, what does it, how do you earn credits? Earning credits means that you will be doing different courses from different universities. So today you get admission in a full program, where that is BA, BSc, BCom program. But in future, you will also get admission in various courses of a program. That is, then the student can do 2 courses from one university, 3 from another university, 4 from another university, and keep on depositing the credits in his or her account. And once the student reaches a threshold number of credits, say, for example, say for graduation, 120 credits are required generally. So if he has 120 credits, out of which the core subject area credits are complete, then he can go to the university from where he has done the maximum number of credits and say that I have 120 credits, give me a degree in lieu of this. So the university will be obliged to give a degree. So this type of revolution, where the student has all the freedom, I think student is made a king in the national education policy. He can choose the university, he can choose the courses. Now there's no ban that if you are studying physics, you cannot study music. If you are studying chemistry, you cannot be studying economics or political science or say drawing or anything, whatever you want to learn, you can learn. So that type of a freedom, and then freedom of speed, the speed with which you learn. Right now, you have to clear the say graduation in 3 years, masters in 2 years, but there you can do graduation in a lesser time also, more time also. So freedom of speed is there, freedom of choosing a university is there, freedom of choosing a course is there. So this type of a freedom is there. But when that freedom is given and the students go to the courses, I mean the universities of course have to make provision for giving admission to the courses in addition to the normal route of program wise admission, then which courses will be more popular? The courses which are taught by the best teachers. So, so it will be very clear that who is a good teacher, who is a bad teacher, or maybe I shouldn't say bad teacher, not very good teacher. So the courses where the teachers are very good would be sought after courses, and many students will run for those courses. And therefore, I also feel that in future, teachers will not stick to a particular institution. For example, you know that Lata Mangeshkar, she was once a salaried employee. She used to get a salary for singing, but then slowly that has gone away. Now you cannot even think of hiring a small actor on a salary. They are all freelancers. Similarly, today you cannot think of hiring a lawyer on a salary. They are all freelancers. They do their own practice and take money course wise, case wise. Similarly, the future teachers will not be working on a salary. They will be freelancers. The good teachers will be going to multiple universities. They will be much in demand and they will be offering courses in different universities. So it will be a teacher-led education and not degree-led. I saw a question in the chat box in which a student was asking that in future, whether degrees will not be important for jobs. I answer will be yes. In future, jobs will depend upon the knowledge you have. So therefore, again, I don't know how much time you have, but then Anant Agarwal, who is the CEO of edX, he was telling us once that once he was standing on the airport and one student came running and he touched his feet. He says, "Bete, who are you?" He says, "Sir, I got my job because of you." He says, "I hardly know you. How can you get my job because of me?" He says, "Sir, I did 10 courses on edX and I went to Tech Mahindra for a job, and there were many graduates, but my knowledge base was the best, and I was selected, although I was from a relatively not very good engineering institution." So knowledge pays. So it is, the student should really learn that knowledge pays, and knowledge is very important, and it is more important than the degrees. And fortunately, today we have multiple sources of knowledge because of this online education. So many open education resources are there, so and most of them are free, so there is no cost also involved. So today, if you did not get admission in IIT, don't worry, IIT professor will come to your home and teach you on your laptop, because all the IIT professors lectures are there on the net. So therefore you just have to have a zeal for learning, and everything is available. I mean, sky is the limit if you really want to learn and increase your knowledge base. So that is what the students should be doing now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj Mittal. And this question from student Smriti Shah from Amrita University, Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya, she is asking that will NEP 2020 brings Indian education system to global standard? Sir, what do you think on this? Would you like to answer this?
Dr. Mittal already answered this. She has already said that it is up to the student to choose from whom to study and what to study. And NEP also gives the flexibility, which is not said, is to delve deeper. That means if a person wants to just study physics and not study at his or her level, he or she can go delve deeper in the subject. It is not so a student in, let us say, class 5 can study class 10th level physics or even beyond. So that is the whole objective, that it is on the student's interest, can study from anywhere, anything, anytime. So knowledge is going to be free for and there would be no restrictions, and also a lot of emphasis will be given on co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and the credits is going to be joined, and there is going to be flexibility. So if somebody does not let us say like physics and move on to biology or to some other science or to geology, and will have the flexibility to do that in future. So that flexibility is given. And looking at that and what Dr. Mittal Madam just said, QCI absorbed that, and we at NABET developed a LSP scheme, which is a Learning Service Provider scheme for assessing the blended learning approach, the face-to-face approach pedagogies by the learning service providers, so that the student community uh, uh, can very well be satisfied by the quality assurance of the delivery of learning materials. And there are a lot of pedagogy approaches which are already there, which is the crossover learning, the learning through argumentation, the incidental learning, the context-based learning, computational thinking, stealth assessments, analytics of emotions. So a new term, which is a latest term, is called affective computing, which is very new, which is led from the artificial intelligence and face recognition, has a new, which was not there earlier. Is affective computing is knowing the face recognition. From face one can emote what the student is thinking, and what is from the emotions deriving how the student is reacting to the class. So this kind of advancements is happening, and a very important movement is the immersive learning movement, which so far is expensive, but from down the line, this is going to be more cheaper, which will lead to visualization, productive engagement of the student, create interest, have hands-on experience, which we have talked about is through virtual labs in the earlier sessions, improve the quality of learning and the right to fail safely, because this is something which people or students are wary of, that what will happen if we fail. So all this can be overcome, and the education next, which brings in the virtual reality accelerated learning environments to artificial intelligence directed learning curricula, making retraining easier, quicker, effective, besides cost savings. And we are at the edge of coming in 5G, which will make all this happen, which I just said.
Thank you, sir. We really look forward for more such innovations from NABET. And as we are on the verge of ending this session, डॉक्टर पंकज, आई वुड लाइक, जैसे आपने बहुत सारे काफी सारे सवालों के तो जवाब इसमें ही दे दिए हैं, बट वी वुड लाइक टू नो दैट teachers will be teaching online, students, they can learn from any portal anywhere, because a lot of content is there online. Institutes, how it will get impacted? How do you see that they'll come up? Because we have seen that students, they are all learning online, teachers are all they are teaching online. As you said that teacher will not be on the salary basis, so how a particular institute will take it?
See, the future, I mean, if you think of far future, I can also think of universities in the cloud. So it could be cloud, like you are called cloud computing. You could be having cloud universities in the cloud, because there can be teachers who can be teaching remotely, and but that is a very far-fetched dream. So right now the universities are going to stay, colleges are going to stay. As I told you, online will stay, but only online will not stay. So face-to-face, of course, does not have a substitute. It is not that all the universities and colleges will close and all the teachers, students will go online and only online learning will be there. No, that will not happen. Right now it is happening because I told you it's a fait accompli. We don't have an option. But then, even if say second, third, fourth, fifth wave of corona comes, it is not that we will remain closed indefinitely. Then we have to learn to live with corona. So not despite corona, we have to live with corona, and then face to face will be there. I mean, we'll be living, of course, with a lot of precautions, and the universities have to be redesigned, the mess has to be redesigned, classrooms have to be redesigned to ensure that there is a little bit of physical distancing, masking is there. There has to be isolation centers in the universities. There have to be quarantine centers in the university. So all those things will change, and the infrastructure of the university will be created in such a manner that we are able to live along with corona. And apart from that, the brick and mortar structure which we are having in the universities, I think more money would be spent on developing the technology, and especially in the universities which are in remote areas, colleges which are in the border areas, hilly areas, rural areas, because India, as you know, is a vast country, and there's a lot of disparity, diverse country also, apart from being vast country, and there's a big digital divide. Somebody is having access to everything, and some people don't even have an access to electricity. So having an access to electricity, device, internet connectivity and bandwidth and a space for learning. That space is also very important, because that we are many times undermining. Well, if we have a 2-bedroom house and you have 2 children and the parents also working online, you need a separate room for everybody, which is not always possible. So all these things are important, and but are not available to everyone. If somebody gets all the 5 things, they should consider themselves very lucky that they have a space, they have a device, they have electricity, they have internet, and they have the bandwidth, sufficient bandwidth to run online classes. So the universities in future have to spend a lot on technology, both at the end of the university and also to the students. So students, I mean, I have seen students sitting on the top of the hill because the connectivity comes there only and doing their lessons. So these type of things are happening, and that digital divide is really creating a lot of issue. So therefore, many times we think of having a campaign like donate a device, that whenever we are having our old laptops or phones, we should donate it to a needy person who can have classes on that particular device. There can be, in rural areas, there is internet connectivity till panchayat level. So in the panchayat, there can be a e-classroom sort of thing where all the students can come and access their devices on the internet and start learning. So we have to change the way we have been teaching, the way we have been learning, both at the level of universities, colleges, teachers, and students. So everything will be changing, and slowly that change is seen. You must be observing that change, and in times to come, that will be there to stay. So blended learning will be something, but the universities and colleges are not going to close down, in spite of having teachers who are sort of not salaried employees. But I mean, right now also we have such teachers. We have many teachers, visiting teachers, who come to our universities and teach a particular course, and those teachers are very much in demand. But my only saying was that those type of teachers will increase in number. Therefore, if the teachers are listening to me, please make yourself indispensable by acquiring more and more skills, not only in your content, which of course is required, but also in the use of technology, and also in the use in a sort of improving the communication to the best possible manner. Because maybe you are having a lot of knowledge, but if you are not able to communicate effectively, that goes waste. So communication skill, technological skills, and the content knowledge, all 3 would be required for the future teachers. And if they don't acquire all these 3 skills, of course, slowly, they will be sort of teachers who will not be much in demand.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary, All India University, and Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya, Director, NABET. Thank you. So that's all for today's session. And I think we have got so many answers, and we are very satisfied with all these answers, and I think many of the students, they would have got their answers from this. So thank you so much for coming in today's session, madam, and thank you, sir, for answering all the questions.
Thank you, Himangini. We really enjoyed the session. It was really very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
So here is the certificate for our speakers.
Gone are the days when we needed certificates.
Mittal, yeah. And to Dr. Indrajit Bhattacharya. Thank you once again. Thank you once again.
Thanks a lot.
एक युवा देश है। विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बाद के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साथ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया।